Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Firefighters Podcast, where we seek to develop, inspire, and motivate the world of the emergency services operator through a series of wide-ranging conversations. Now, before we go any further, just hit that rate, follow, or subscribe button on whatever platform you're listening to. It's a key performance indicator for us and helps us reach even more people. Now, here's what we've got for you today. Few symbols in the fire service are as instantly recognizable as the traditional American leather fire helmet. Dating back nearly 200 years to some of the designs that we see today, still the same iteration. The leather helmet has become far more than a piece of protective equipment. For many firefighters, it represents pride, tradition, identity, and definitely belonging. And mounted to the front of that helmet sits something equally important, the leather shield. Part identification marker, part artwork, part personal history. These handcrafted helmet fronts tell so many stories. They represent companies, stations, families, careers, sometimes sacrifices, and even firefighters we've lost along the way. In many ways, they are the fire service equivalent of like a coat of arms. My guest today is Justin Fitzwater, firefighter with the Kansas City Fire Department and founder of Fitzwater Leather, a company renowned throughout America for creating some of the most stunning custom helmet fronts and leather work you're ever going to see. What began as kind of a passion of art, definitely a hell of a lot of craftsmanship, and a deep family connection to the fire service has grown into a business that now helps firefighters preserve and celebrate their identity through handcrafted pieces that often become treasured heirlooms. In my conversation with Justin today, we're going to go in so many different areas. We explore the history of the American leather helmet, the meaning behind the iconic helmet shield. We talk about traditions, we talk about working rigs, we talk about shift patterns, we talk about things that continue to shape firefighter culture and why firefighters form such a powerful emotional connection to the symbols of the profession. We're also going to dive into some family, some legacy, lots of craftsmanship, and what it means to build something that will outlast us. This is a conversation I know a lot of people are going to have an interest in because in the UK, we love those American helmets. They are just a massive piece of symbolism. And this conversation is about way more than just the leather. I'll see you on the other side. So we were just talking because I was getting confused about the differences in lieutenants, captains. So what I think I know is firefighter, engineer, lieutenant, captain, battalion chief.
Yeah,
That's right.
that is it's weird. It's not uniform across the board in America as a whole.
Yeah.
So I actually couldn't even tell you some of the comparables to like the East Coast guys and West Coast guys. Everything's kind of, I mean,
Yeah.
there's similar structures, but they all got different titles. And like KCFD doesn't have a lieutenant. Lieutenant
Okay.
isn't a thing. It's
That's why your
firefighter.
captains manage the rigs then.
Yes, it's
Right.
firefighter, fire apparatus operator or driver, and then
Yeah.
captain. And then from that captain position, you go straight to battalion chief, and then battalion chief, deputy chief, assistant chief, fire chief. So,
Yeah, we've got more layers than you.
yeah.
But also, like, so when you've got a station that's got multiple trucks on that
Mhm,
station,
mhm,
so my station's got 2 trucks.
'kay.
So when someone's on, like if I'm on, so I'm a watch manager, I'd be in charge of the watch. So all of the people that are there for the day. I
Mhm,
wouldn't be in charge. Well, I would be in charge, but what I mean is I'm responsible, if you know what I mean. But obviously, I don't ride both the
yeah,
trucks. I'll only ride one of the trucks. And then a crew manager will, which would be your lieutenants usually if you had them, would be in charge of the other truck. And if they got to an incident, if we got 10 separate incidents or whatever, then obviously we go somewhere different. They'd be in charge of that one. I'd be in charge of this one. But if we had like the station things for the day, like we're all going to do
mhm,
training at 12 o'clock, we're all going to have
mhm,
lunch at 1, we're all going to go gym at 8. Whoever's in charge for the day, and if there's a watch manager there, the watch manager in charge. That's how that kind
yeah,
of works. But like with your different trucks, if you have different captains on, I mean, I guess
mhm,
obviously they're mates, they work together, they talk to each other. But
yeah,
like, do they have a different plan for the day? Who's
yeah,
overall Oh, they have a completely different plan just for that. But
yeah.
do the firefighters switch rigs though?
No, no,
Are
no,
you
I'm
truckies and
on.
engines there?
Yes, I'm on truck 4ing.
Right.
Casey, my fire station, I don't mind saying it, Kansas City Fire Department, we operate in, a truck, and then instead of engine, we call it a pumper.
Okay.
So, at my fire station, we're lucky enough to not have an ambulance.
Hey.
So, hey, alright. So, I'm on the truck, and so I mean, unless I pick up overtime or If our rig is heavy in personnel,
Yeah.
then I'll get detailed over to the pumper if they are light in personnel for the day. Otherwise, I go out of station and go to a different fire station. But yeah, it's weird. They are. It's it's kind of like having it's kind of like having roommates in a way. I mean, yeah, you do, but how am I trying to word this? It's almost feudalistic at times in a
Okay.
good way. There's a bit of a rivalry. Like yesterday for playful rivalry.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yesterday we had training to do as the truck, but the pumper wasn't a part of that because it was just like roof operations, cutting holes and stuff like that,
Mhm.
and in a acclaimed building by the city. So
Yeah.
we we were able to go do that, and the pumper wasn't a part of that. They were doing their own thing. They had EMS training to go do. So it's like you're on similar schedules. One, the pumper's cooking today, then the
Mhm.
truck's cooking next day, and there's a separate, kind of a sibling rivalry almost in a way.
Do you do
It's
one
fun.
on, two off, or do you do one on, three off, or are you
I,
a
I, we're one on, two off.
one on, two off? Yeah, so
Mhm.
you do a 24, 48, or whatever it is.
Correct.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's just 3 shifts, isn't it? Is it?
Yeah, we got ABC.
Yeah, you just ABC. Whereas I think the 72 is just 4 shifts, isn't it? They have them somewhere.
Yeah,
But
that
anyway,
sounds right.
so for people, and I know this is not what we're coming to talk about today, but I always love giving people a bit of insight because when people go,
Sure.
"Oh, American firefighters," I'm like, which ones are you specifically on about? Because
Yeah.
it's not the same everywhere. America's fucking huge. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like it's however many times, at least 50, 60 times larger than the UK. So you can't
Yeah.
just generalize and say American firefighters do this or they work that or they're set up like this
Oh
or
yeah.
it's like, no, it's almost might as well be different countries at times. So
Yeah.
when a new firefighter starts on your station,
Mhm.
they would start on the pumper because that's a lesser skill set.
No, it would
Apologies. Okay.
you it's okay. When you come out of the academy, you typically float an entire district and you're at a new assignment every day within that district. Sometimes, I mean, you'll have repeatable districts if a guy's like hurt and so they got an
Yeah.
empty spot and you'll go to that same rig. It's more or less the rig itself rather than report to like station 17. You're going to report to rescue 31, which is at station 17 every day because they got a
Yeah.
hurt guy on the rig and they need to make,
Yeah.
a full lineup. But uh, you'll float a district for a little while, and then you get placed at a open spot depending on the opening,
Hmm.
and uh, then you're subject to bid. So you'll get placed at that spot, but you're just kind of there temporarily, and then everybody bids it depending on who wants to work there, and then wherever you get bumped from that bid is where your spot is now. So, for
Right.
example, to make it simple, I got placed. I got placed when I was floating. I got placed at pumper 44, and
Mhm.
a firefighter paramedic out of pumper 18 bid my spot, but he didn't have to maintain his medic license, so he got to bid just a straight firefighter spot. So I
Yep.
went right back to floating District 104 for a couple of weeks before I was
I
placed again, and then I got bumped out of there, and that's how I ended up at Rescue 1 in the city market. So it's like there's this like it's a bid bump cycle. You're just kind of tossed around until eventually you find yourself at home, and then you get enough time to bid something that you would actually like to work at, or you might find yourself enjoying where you're at. So
Oh
I hope
wow.
that makes sense.
No, it does. But like, so if you get based on a truck, on a
Hmm.
rescue rig or truck,
Hmm.
you have to maintain different skill sets like rooftop
Correct.
operations. But
Yeah.
then surely a brand new firefighter couldn't step straight into rooftop operations. They'd be riding supernumerary sort of like additional personnel because I think of your truckies as slightly more technical rescue operations, more cutting equipment and rope
Yeah.
rescue. And am I right in saying that?
Yeah. Not
Because
the
the
rope
engine,
side of
the pumpers
things,
won't
but
do rope rescue, would they?
no.
No, I
No,
didn't
and
think they
not
would.
even really the trucks will to an extent. It's a very, like, light version of that.
Yeah.
I would say you have to know some form of rigging and stuff like that to be able to operate, like, your Stokes basket and be able to assist in a rescue company, but we have dedicated rescue companies that are dedicated to rope rescue operations. So a truckie, for example, wouldn't do much, as far as rope rescue goes. We would call in a
Okay.
separate rig, a technical rescue rig to do something like that. But
Okay.
you're correct in saying that there is additional skill sets with being on a truck that
Mm,
you aren't exactly fed in abundance in the fire
yeah,
academy.
that's
So
what I mean.
you do get some like on the job training,
Mm,
and that's been with KCFD. That's been really unorthodox. There's been some guys that just got thrown right in as manpower. I had
mhm,
like a 1 to 2 week long on the job training, and then I was thrown right into manpower. Um, and so it's kind of if you get placed on a truck and you are a brand new guy, we got a brand new guy at our station, then
mhm,
it's just kind of up to your crew integrity to be able to come in and kind of show you the ropes on how you're going to do
to
things in
develop
certain
them, yeah.
operations. Yeah. That can be cool because then you can kind of get a moldable individual and be able to teach them the way that you guys would like to do it. But it also means that there isn't a lot of uniformity between each individual. Like, like this
I'll
truck does it
bet,
this way, this
yeah,
truck does it that way.
stowage on the rigs will be different. There might even
Yeah.
yeah, when I was over in Atlanta, Georgia, a
Mhm.
month or so ago, like from station to station, some of the kit's different. Like the one
Mhm.
station will have just purchased something, or they'll have a fabricator, a metal fabricator on the watch on the crew on the station who will have made them something. And
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm like, does your department sign off on this? Do they need to sign off on it? Like, and I know I'm being like a nerdy British kid, but I'm like, Asa, if we just went and got something and put it on the rig
Mhm.
and went, oh, well, this makes sense. We think it's really good. We've tested it. It's great for the job. Maybe forcible entry or for something else.
Mhm.
Not a fucking chance. Not a
Really?
chance. Oh, you would get a fizzer. You get a disciplinary.
No kidding.
Yeah, man. Because it's not been
That's
so we have like pure regs,
mhm.
provision of use of working equipment regulations, maybe something like that. So pure and Lola. So Lola's for lifting equipment like ropes and harnesses and like I can't remember, like a bloody winch, like a winch or something like that.
Oh, okay.
That all
Yeah,
comes
yeah.
under Lola. Everything else is kind of under pure. Today's episode is proudly supported by PBI. For over 40 years, PBI has been trusted and proven in the fire service, protecting what matters most, firefighters. PBI develops high-performance protective fabrics designed for the realities of the fireground, with a focus on flame resistance, low thermal conductivity, break-open protection, durability, and comfort. Because when conditions change quickly, your PPE has to do more than just look the part. It has to perform again and again under heat, stress, wear, and real operational use. We're incredibly proud to partner with PBI because their work sits exactly where this podcast lives. Firefighter safety, education, innovation, and helping crews better understand the protection they really rely on every single day. To learn more, visit PBI Products and explore the science behind the fabrics protecting firefighters around the world. Let's get back to the show. So, like, you can't climb sideways across a ladder because it's not designed to be side loaded. You know what I mean? It's designed to be
Mhm.
vertically loaded. And how we use cutters and the way in which we orientate them, or if we just go, this would be good for that job, we're going to use it for that job. But if that's not what the design specification designed it for, then the health and safety fund police will get involved. And so
Interesting.
we can't just go buying stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
like maybe for forcible entry, we could buy like, some different lock snapping mechanisms and stuff like that if we'd learnt
Yeah.
it from a locksmith or something like that. But they're very, very tight on that. Even just like so, getting your own torches, getting your own knives, just like
Mhm.
pocket knives.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, not a chance. It's crazy.
That's
Because you
wild.
guys, it is wild, isn't
Because I
it?
mean, it
It's
really is
proper
2
nanny
different
state.
worlds.
And
Yeah.
I get why they do it to an extent,
Yeah.
because if you
No, it
hurt
makes sense.
yourself and we were aware that you had this piece of kit and you hurt yourself and you were on shift when you hurt yourself, insurance
Mhm.
wouldn't pay out
Mhm.
because the department, the service, didn't assess that piece of kit and it
Yeah.
didn't go through any rigorous process to make sure it was safe for use. But
That would make sense.
it does make sense, but it's just unfortunate because it limits us from having lots of useful things that people that like certainly that I see when I travel, even just nationally, but certainly internationally. I will like
Yeah.
bring back something, and they'll go,
There's a
no,
lot.
no,
There's a lot of guys that carry I mean, there'll be guys that buy their own axes and stuff and carry those and,
yeah,
yeah, what you decide to bring with you. I mean, I got like I call it my little rescue purse just to be funny, but it's a
nice,
little rig bag that I keep that's got extra gloves and hoods and everything. And some of those gloves I've acquired myself,
Yeah.
and some of the tools. I got like a little mini pry bar that I throw in there just for whatever, and a
Yep.
whole bag of tools is just my tools that I carry on extrications and stuff. It's
Hmm.
yeah, it's this is KC, by the way. I mean, I don't know exactly. I know the regulations can change as you go further west or as you go further east, but
Hmm.
I know with us, it's kind of the Wild West. I mean, like you can kind of do whatever
But
you
that's
want,
good to an
and
extent because that
yeah,
encourages professional. Well, maybe not.
yeah,
I would call it professional firefighting because
sure.
it encourages firemanship, which
There you
is
go.
the art of the
Yeah,
craft. You know what I mean? Which
yeah.
is studying and going on courses and finding things and investing in your own kit. But even like when I see a lot of your guys wearing helmet cams,
Mhm.
um, I'm a massive fan of that for debriefing and reflection and training and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Not a chance. We've tried it. Whoa,
yeah,
they're well way against it. Way
yeah,
against it, which is just mind boggling. They have a
yeah.
GDPR concern where they're like, "Ah, you put it on social media and this will happen." I'm like, but there's a rule for that.
Mhm.
Like, you just say, if you put it on social media, you'd be sacked. Well, fine.
Yeah,
Then I won't put it on social media. Or if I do, then you sack me. Do you know what I mean? But there's
yeah.
nothing wrong with me recording everything. And then we can use it at the station. We can debrief it. I can reflect on it
Exactly.
myself. Do you know what I mean? But anyway,
Yeah, I do. I could see that. Even if it was like a social media policy or something like that. I mean, we have social media policies, and there's a few guys that will record things and take photos and stuff like that. And if it's if it's a fatality fire, they got to keep that stuff
yeah,
to themselves. I mean, that's going to be. I mean, even if you don't want to go alongside any sort of policy and just want to be tasteful, that's probably
yeah.
not the right.
Yeah, it's respectful, isn't it?
But
Yeah.
not in good taste to post a fatality
Yeah.
fire on
But
Facebook,
if it's
but,
just a big structure fire
sure.
or a collision where nobody died, but it
Yeah,
was a complex incident, and you were like, "Oh, this
yeah,
is great because I saw so and so use this," or we actually, did an attack on the Charlie side, and whoa, it just went wind driven or whatever. Then you
yeah,
could be like, "That's a really good teaching point." Like, we ventilated this side, and that happened.
exactly.
Nobody died. Firefighter didn't die. No one got burnt,
Right.
but it was interesting. You know what I mean?
And what would you even say about all the cameras that are on scene anyways that aren't associated with the firefighters, you know? I mean, it's not like you're not being recorded from 1,000
Oh,
different angles whenever you're on
yeah.
scene of something anyways. I mean, that's catastrophic things happen all the time that people are recorded 8, 9, 10 times from somebody on the side of the road. So it's like
Always recorded now. Whether
if
it's
you think it's not
someone's
gonna make it on
ring
social media.
doorbell, whether
Yeah,
it's their own
yeah,
phone, whether
yeah,
it's it's just the
yeah,
over safety nanny culture in the UK. Anyway,
exactly.
um, I
Yeah.
had you on, brother, because we've been following your stuff for ages, and
Well,
speaking about
thanks.
differences from the UK versus different countries, what I think
Yeah,
I love, well, what I know I love about American firefighting is the pride and what you guys represent and how much you're supported, from my perspective, from the community, but also how proud you are yourselves of the things that you do, and you see that
yeah,
manifested in people getting some incredible pieces of artwork made, whether it's the helmets, whether it's axes, whether it's all kinds of there's thousands of American companies, and yours came up because the just sheer bloody creativity and art that you create with Fitzwater Leather, mate. And I wanted to kind of dig
thank you.
into the background of this because the people in the UK absolutely love this. We're not allowed to wear our uniforms, for God's sake, when we're not on shift. So people
Nice.
buy a lot of this stuff. They have it in their homes, and they're a big fan of it, and especially for their families as well, because the families are very proud of them being firefighters. And we just don't seem to have companies like this in the UK. So take me to the origin of like when you first started getting into handcrafted sort of leather goods and some of this custom work.
Yeah, um, so it's kind of a collision of a bunch of different things at once that kinda cultivated into this being a business.
Mhm.
I I I was always had an affinity to art and was a big drawer and painter and stuff when I was growing up as a kid. And then and that's just the real brief. And my my dad is a retired fire captain with Kansas City Fire Department. My uncle was, my grandpa was, and my grandpa's cousin was. So I grew up in the fire service, and when I became a fireman myself, I still like the art didn't go away. That whole side of thing, I still was enjoying that. Me and my wife actually were printing T-shirts with my art on them as the first
Mhm.
rendition of a family business.
Mhm.
That did not go near as well as this, but gave it an honest try. And then yeah, so I got on the fire department, and I was looking for something to do with my creativity and stumbled across just a YouTube video, or I can't remember if it was that or social media of some kind, and I saw somebody tooling leather,
Mhm.
and I was like, "Wow," "I think I can do that," was my exact thought at the time. And uh, fire helmet shields on the front of an American or Western fire helmet. We have the identification placards on the front, or we
Mhm.
call them shields. Some guys call them furnace pieces. Some guys call them devices. Some guys, call them fronts. I mean, they have like all this various terminology, all symbolizing the thing that represents you and your fire company,
Mhm.
and all that on the front of your helmet. And we actually had a really good shield maker. We call them shields in KC. Um, we had a really good shield maker that was already on Kansas City Fire Department at the time, and he was making them for seemingly everyone. And so I was very much so inspired by that, to kind of have that information
Mhm.
as I got on the fire department, and then the collision of seeing the videos associated with that, and then my art background and my fire service family background. It all kind of was the ingredients that made this cake of a business that I got now. And yeah, and so KC is pretty loose about it. Obviously, you can't have like a naked pinup girl or something like
I
that
was
on
about
a
to
fire
say,
helmet
like,
shield.
how,
Yeah.
where, so they don't make them for the firefighter. The department, do they make
You
them or not?
are you are issued them, but they're usually stock from the helmet company. So like when
Okay.
we buy a whole lot of Carnes helmets, they'll have the Carnes shield slapped on the front that just says like member KCFD on it, and that's it.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, a lot of guys take those, and I mean, I got all of mine are in here that I use for pattern making when I first got started, to make sure I got the holes set right and the
Mhm.
sizing right. But yeah, you are issued one.
Yeah.
But it's like I said, it's pretty bare bones. It doesn't have your name on it or anything. And once you find a home, whatever that be, whatever rig that is, I mean, then immediately the inclination is to get a shield representative of that company, not just for the identification on a fire ground type of stuff, but once again, talking about the pride side of things, you're
Mhm.
pretty proud to work wherever you're working. Um, so, and if you're floating, some guys will buy ones that just say KCFD on them, even if maybe if they aren't too proud of where they want to work, it's a slower station or something, and they want to go work somewhere else, they'll still get a KCFD one because it's not
Yeah.
that member cheap
Mhm.
little thing that turns into a potato chip in your first fire. So, yeah, it's fun. So, I guess
So, what
hopefully
are
that
the
answers your
parameters
question.
around what people can actually have done on them? Because these have been around for how long? When's the first? I was trying to look at it earlier. Is it like about
Yeah.
200 years old now? Was it FDNY where these started?
Yeah, yeah, you're gonna have I used to be able to rattle it off right off the top of my head, but I haven't referred back to my notes in a while. But the Henry T. Gradicap was the first American fire service fire helmet. And that
He was
was
a luggage maker in his actual job, wasn't he? He
yes,
just made one himself.
you got it. Nice.
Yeah.
You know more about it than I do in the current moment.
Nah, I
But
did a bit of a look before we started. Some just total
yeah,
transparency.
yeah, that was the first one, and that goes all the way back to like the gangs of New York style firefighting, where
Hmm.
you got like parade companies coming in and fist fighting in the front yard for who gets to fight the fire and get paid that day.
Jesus.
And
Yeah.
yeah, that was wild times. But um, yeah, that would have been the first definitive one. And I want to say that's early 1800s, but don't quote me on that.
Hmm.
But somewhere, picture that ballpark range.
Hmm.
Um, and so, yeah, it used to be historically, if you go back a little bit in time, guys would kind of make their own fire helmet shields. It's always been kind of a handmade thing that you just kind of roll with. You get issued ones, but they're never very cool,
Hmm.
and so there's always somebody that's always making one. It used to be kind of a personal thing. And then as we've gotten in more into the modern fire service, where modern trades are a thing, and leathercraft used to be taught like in schools and stuff, like in shop
Hmm.
class in America. And it's not at all. And so this craft as a unique trade is kind of on more of the dying end. You don't see a lot of people doing it. And
Hmm.
so therefore in the fire service that's reflected. And
Mm.
so fewer guys are making them themselves, and then that's when you get somebody like me, for example, that steps in and is like, "Well, I know how to do this, and I can
Hmm.
make you one that's cool." And it can be something simple that's the baseline is, a company or department along the top, company number, personal identification number, something like that, running down the center and larger, and then name at the bottom. Obviously, there's variations of that, but the the central focus originally and baseline focus would be who I am and who I work for,
Hmm.
and then and there is little to no regulation on it, at least as far as KCFD goes. I know
Wow.
yeah, it can get pretty wild.
That's
Some of
mad.
the yeah, I personally, it comes down to personal flavor. I personally like to have, a representative like the identification aspect incorporated.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm also the guy that'll put uh, uh, a cow that's a pinup on the front of a fire shield, and I can make that happen. So, artistically speaking, I enjoy the fluidity of it, but also like
Yeah.
principally speaking, because I am a fireman,
Yeah.
it's like, you should probably have something on there that says who you are and where you work. Um,
Hmm.
but then you go, there's some
MSA are supporting us on today's podcast, and I chose to partner with them because I've been wearing this stuff for nearly 20 years, and they are the global leader in development, manufacture, and supply of incredible, safe products that really protect people, not just our communities out there, but also first responders, most importantly, all over the world. Get yourself over to MSA and have a look at it. The high performance protective clothing for emergency services responders. They also partner with us on the UK Pink Firefighters. It's because we love them. The helmets with the reflective visor, the F1XF, absolutely epic helmet. And not forgetting how they improve firefighter safety through their connectivity in the connected firefighter platform. MSA are always pushing the envelope, and it's a real privilege to be able to continue to grow our partnership together. So whether it's your PPE, your bunker gear, your helmets, your SCBA, your thermal imaging, your Luna, or your portable gas detection, both of us know that this equipment needs to work. It needs to be high quality, reliable, and dependable in the moment. And that's why I use MSA, because they know what's at stake.
like I mean, if there's an FDNY guy watching this, he'll probably butcher me. But you look at FDNY, and a lot of those guys have very much so the similar shields, straightforward. They're
Yeah.
all the same
Yeah.
until you start getting into the top brass, and then they happen to have one of the greatest handmade, hand painted shield makers in their arsenal of craftsmen that work for FDNY.
Ah.
That he's been doing it for years, and that guy, he'll paint all the ones for the top brass, and he does the gold foiled and just paints them and doesn't like actually get in and carve them or anything. No discredit. Totally different style of helmet shield. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Why does he only do it for the top brass?
I think I want to say I don't work for FDNY, but I
I
want
know.
to say that it's a regulation thing. I want to say that it has something to do with
Is it
it
because
probably
they won't go structural anymore anyway? When they get past a
possibly
certain point, I
that could
imagine.
be that
Uh,
could be. It also could be. It also literally could be like identification and their hierarchical structures. If I had to assume, it
yeah, I
would be
know, but that starts to feel very much like a two-tier system. Like, oh no,
yeah,
you can't have one of these because you're not important
yeah.
enough. Fuck
Well,
off, you know.
in a way, I would I I agree with your sentiment, and at the same time, like, but there is only what one fire commissioner, maybe more than that.
Hmm.
But I have no idea how FDNY structure works, but
I don't know.
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's generally speaking probably where it comes from is they have a more regulated system down low, and maybe they are allowed to have more custom shields. I
Mm.
know Casey's wild. Everybody has something different. It seems like. And then who else have I made? I've made one for Boston, and it was a Boston style shield. There's different styles based on regions on where they've kind of gravitated towards, but I made
Surely
one
the
for
fixing
Boston as
points are
just a shield.
fairly standard on all of the helmets, though, are they not?
Relatively, yeah. You can. It's kind of like fishing with a wide net, so you can capture them all with this general sizing,
Yeah.
and then I ship them off without any sort of like holes punched or anything like that. So guys,
Okay.
because NFPA regulation, you got to have certain helmet standards, but then there's some departments where guys might wear a parade helmet with no impact cap. That might just be what you decide to do. It's literally just a leather bucket, and that you got to mount the screws yourself. And so then it's like,
I was about to go there, to be fair, because like NFPA 1971 doesn't restrict these sort of specific helmet styles too much, which really surprises me. And I wonder if and I don't know if that's what has held the sort of NFPA development back, is how traditional this is, how, you know, that front piece shield is such a piece of identity, and it's almost mythology to anyone, to be honest, that's outside of the US, because I don't think any other nations, and I'm really stretching here, but I don't think any other nations have that much of that sort of real symbolic piece of artwork. You know what I mean? That sits on the front of it. And it is a point of conversation if we got back into the sort of injury and health and safety world and all that sort of stuff. I read about you know, subcranial fractures in the neck and all this sort of stuff because of how heavy and old and less functional the American fire helmets are. And I say that in the same breath as saying everybody across the world who's a firefighter wants one. But I don't know if I would want to wear it every day on the job, because it's bloody big.
It depends on the
isn't
brand.
it?
It depends on the brand. It depends on who's making it. I am obviously going to be much more biased to a leather fire helmet, being as I work with leather. So I wear a leather.
What, a full leather helmet?
Mm-hmm. Wow. It's got an impact cap in it and all that stuff. I stick to NFPA. That's a big thing. Is you got to have.
Did you buy your own
safety
helmet?
Mechanism? Mine was a gift from my father. So
awesome.
So yes, you would, because they don't issue you a leather helmet on KCFD. They issue you a plastic Carnes. But you know, now with that, I understand why, because now you're getting into like deconability and stuff like that. But
I mean, we could go there, but
but I think you can decon a leather helmet just as good, anyways. But you know, there's any guy who has a leather helmet, which is kind of in my opinion, the creme de la creme of fire helmets, historically speaking, and just, you know, that pride aspect of things, generally speaking, has purchased it themselves. But you get if you look up Phoenix, not spelled like the city, it's Phenix. They make fire helmets out of leather, and their helmets are light as a feather. They're just as light as a composite or plastic helmet. And it's zero difference. In fact, probably more comfortable than a plastic, because you almost don't even need a ratchet strap for situations like that. You just need a nice chin strap. You call it a day. Slaps right on your head like a baseball cap. And those are, it's nice. So yes, it's heavy. Mine is heavy, because I wear a helmet that is not, generally speaking, favored by the fire service, just because it was gifted from my dad, and it's a Carnes N6A Sam Houston, and it's heavy.
That's an
as
MSA
hell.
helmet, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm probably saying it wrong. Here in Tennessee, we call it Carnes, but it's probably like Cairns or something like that.
There's the N5A. There's the N6A,
the New Yorker.
The
N5A New Yorker is that's top tier as far as MSA Carnes goes. That's in my humble opinion. And then, but if I had to buy my own right now, I'd probably buy a Phoenix, just because they're so lightweight and they're so nice. Oh man, that's a clean looking helmet. You can get the right bend on. Oh shoot, dude, you're probably looking at, if I had to guess, you're probably looking at somewhere ballpark range of $1,500 to $1,800.
Really?
So yeah,
that's expensive.
So I don't know what that equates to your dough over there, but that's where it's, you know, they're expensive. I mean, there's used ones. There's used ones going on different, like Lid Lounge and stuff like that on Facebook. Used ones that are going for $1,500.
Really? That's like £1,200 for us in the UK, which is still pretty expensive. Yeah, that's you know, that's half of a firefighter's monthly wage over here, probably. That's a lot.
Exactly. Well, yeah, exactly.
So as long as, even though your dad's helmet's really old, because when designed it met the standard, your department would just.
It wasn't old. It was so they used to have real quick, they used to have sick leave incentives. If you didn't utilize all your sick leave, then you got to pick from a certain gift with the fire department, whether that be leather boots or that be a leather helmet or something like that. So basically, if you did not call off sick and you ended your year with a certain amount of sick leave, then you got some sort of incentive for that. And
That
so
is a
the helmet
great
that my
idea.
dad, it's not a bad idea.
Yeah,
I don't know where they don't really do it anymore either. They probably should bring
they
that back,
should,
especially
because
with staffing
sickness is
issues like
fucking so
everybody's got.
expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
especially our
yeah.
long-term sick or anything. But then again,
Absolutely.
what gets rewarded is like, what are you optimizing for? Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? You've got to incentivize people in some way.
Yeah.
Man,
I
that'd be
agree.
really cool. So he
But
got given helmets and stuff, or he chose some
yeah,
helmets and at
he
the
got a
time.
helmet off of sick leave that was just sitting on his shelf for a long time. And then when I became a firefighter, I was just hanging out at his house. You know, it's my dad, so I'm over at his house, and I saw the helmet, and I was like, "What are you doing with that?" And he was like, "Nothing. You want it?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna wear it. Like, I don't want this dumb plastic helmet. I want a cool leather one like all the cool guys." So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's stuck, and that's my lid now. But yeah, so
So what
it
about
wasn't
boots
old.
and stuff like that? You say can
Mhm.
people swap out their boots?
Oh yeah, yeah. I got so I
Do you
got
just buy them
my
yourself as well?
yes. So when I graduated from the fire academy, my dad that was my graduation gift was a pair of leather boots, and because there's a big difference, and so
Massive, mate.
he
Massive.
bought me a pair of boots, and I was like, "Thank you very much," and I wore those forever. And then when he retired, we have a similar foot size. So when he retired, he was like, "You want my other leathers?" I was like, "Yeah, yeah, dude." So I've been lucky enough. I got 2 sets of leathers, as far as boots go, and then I got my 3rd backup, which is the rubbers, and
Mm.
it's night and day, man. I get blisters in my rubbers. It feels like I have,
Mm,
like,
mm.
next to no ankle support, and forget that. I
Honestly,
hate
mate,
those things.
it's just annoying listening to you, to be honest. We have to
Yeah,
wear the boots that we're issued with.
yeah,
Non-negotiable. Absolute non-negotiable. I mean, if you have some crazy weird, like you've had surgery on your ankle and you get a special doctor's note from your surgeon or something like that, then maybe they'll buy you another pair. They might
yeah,
buy you something weird, which you won't like either. But if they just say, oh, it needs to meet, this ISO standard or whatever it
mhm,
is, or BSN, British National Standard, um, then you just go and buy your own. Like we work with hikes a lot on the podcast, and I've got a fucking garage full of hikes boots, variations of kinds, and
mhm,
I'm run this pink firefighter thing, and we get the best hikes boots because they're the best ones
mhm,
for firefighters to compete in and to just general compete on training and operations in. Not
yeah,
allowed to wear them at work. Not allowed. And that this is a company that's a company that sells into the fire.
yeah.
The
It's
fire
fire
service you
equipment.
work for buy these
Yeah,
boots, but they'll only buy them if someone's got a really bad problem because they're a bit more expensive because they're better. But if you
yeah,
said not a problem, look, I'll buy them myself. No, absolutely
no.
not. No chance. And you're like,
Interesting.
what are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah,
You understand I will be able to work for longer, easier, with less damage
mhm,
to my back and my calves and my feet
yeah,
if you let me buy my own boots. But it's
yeah.
mad. It's so mad.
You would think, yeah, that's what you gotta spend a lot of money on your boots and your bed because you're not in one, you're in the other.
That's it, brother. A
So
thousand
it's like
percent. A thousand
so
percent.
yeah, I don't
So
know. Yeah.
take me back to the designs.
Okay.
So you were getting into the different variations and like
Mhm.
what's some of the most interesting ones that you put together? Because we'll link your social media under here. And obviously I'm gonna
Yeah.
drop a question at some point if people can order these internationally. But talk
Okay.
to me about some of the
Yeah.
different ones because the artwork is absolutely incredible. And the
Thank you.
variation as well
Yeah.
is awesome.
A lot of it a lot of it comes down to so it's interesting. Like I have my own individualized works that I work on that are it's like artists and craftsmen, right? An artist
Mm.
makes things for themselves, and a craftsman makes things for other people. So it's like I I trade hats. I wear both. So I'll make things that I just think are cool that hang out in here. But a lot of the stuff that's specific fire service related, as far as like helmet shields and stuff like that goes, I'm making it for somebody. So with every single thing that I make, there is like a sub credit of some type that goes to the wearer because they're like, I had this idea and I want to know if you can make it happen. And it's like,
Mhm.
yeah, absolutely. So I'm not it. very seldomly is it like, hey, I work for this department and I want you to make whatever you want. In fact, that's like a death sentence. I hate that. That's the worst thing in the world. Like I would
Yeah.
much rather you give me an entirely fully fledged out with this AI stuff going
Mhm.
around. Actually, as a craftsman who works in a physical medium, I don't hate it.
Mhm.
Because somebody can give me an AI picture of exactly what they want, and I'm like, do you want that exact thing? Because
Mhm.
I, with my skill set, can make that happen. So
Mhm.
it's actually not
I
bad.
wonder how tattoo artists feel about AI.
I think they would feel a lot different because there's so much more illustrative with tattoo
Uh,
artistry. You are,
I don't know if it's more
uh,
personal as well because you're physically doing it to a person for 8 hours. I've got loads of tattoos. I've got
yeah,
tattoos on my body,
yeah.
my
I got
legs and
plenty
my back, and
myself.
also
So
yeah. But
I would feel like a tattoo artist would be offended by it more,
I think you're probably
personally.
right. Yeah,
Yeah, and
I
there's a
think they're
level
more
of
romantic
manipulation
about
that
it.
I put in all of them. So
Plus, they have
yeah,
to shape it to
yeah,
the body, so like it's very
mhm,
personalized, isn't it?
yeah,
But yeah, for like,
yeah,
because I was just looking at your website, like whether it's the hats, whether it's the can saddles, whether it's some of the t-shirts and stuff like that, you're like, yeah, this plays into it a lot easier for people that perhaps don't have traditional artistic talents.
yeah,
It allows them to, AI and things like that allows them to play with their own thoughts and designs and passions and maybe guides
yeah.
them towards it a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not offended by it at all.
Hmm.
In fact, there's even been some shields where to be able to have a license-free, what's the word, reference. I've incorporated some AI and thrown it in and been like, that helps me out a ton to be able to visualize it. Because ultimately, when you're on a production level, I mean, we got 80 orders on the docket booked out through September, and then we're going to shut it down for Christmas orders. My year is basically done,
Hmm.
and it's when you're running through and knocking out a shield to shield after time after time after time. I'm not going to sit down and draw a circle, then a square, then a couple of lines, and build the form and do the whole traditional thing. I am more traditionally trained on how to draw, which is where like my t-shirts and my personal art come into the equation. But if some guy wants a rhino running through a Maltese holding an ice cream cone, like I'm gonna be like, hey, ChatGPT, help me out with this. What would this look like? And then I'm gonna
Yeah,
draw based off of that.
yeah,
So me and my I got a guy that works for me, that's a good friend of mine, and he's a traditionally trained artist, and he helps me paint some of the shields. Um, we have this conversation all the time, like where does AI fit into an artist's life? And I think it's one of those things where you gotta, if you want to keep up the pace and be able to change with the times, you got to let go of some tradition. But at the same
yeah.
time, if you can do it honorably, that's the best practice. So can you use AI? Yeah, but can should you literally take the AI drawing from what GPT did and put it on a t-shirt and be like, I drew this? Absolutely not. Now we're getting into a morality
No, yeah.
complex.
If you
You
don't
know?
claim to have drawn it yourself, that's the
Right. Yeah.
we have
That's
patches and stickers and stuff like that. I've never made it. I've
yeah.
never designed one myself in my life. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've just got,
Mhm.
but that I've never drawn one. But
Yeah.
you've designed it
Yeah.
because the AI is just a really impressive tool. If you had
Right.
a better crafting tool than me, then you would be able to create better artwork. You'd be able to cut better leather cleaner and whatever. Do you know what I mean? It's like
In
it's just
theory.
a
Yeah.
tool. It's just a tool.
Exactly.
You're limited by your own mind and your own creativity. Willingwood watches are back supporting the podcast, and honestly, it means a lot to me because this brand is built on real service heritage. Whether it's the melting down of the original 1920s British brass firefighter helmets, and they also use upcycled fire hose on all of their straps. It's not just design, it's about the job, and it's built into every single component. I've been wearing them for 10 years now. Found them back in 2015, actually, and they've genuinely been a part of my daily kit ever since. I've got two. I've got the Valiant, and I've got the Chivalrous as well in Midnight Blue. But the thing about the brand, about Willingwood watches, it stands so different because of its story. Take, for example, their Dunkirk watch. That's not just a timepiece. It's actually built to honour the Massey Shore fireboat. I'll be honest though, the one I've got my eye on this year is the Fearless. It's more of like a field watch on the station, on the watch. It's a smaller 39mm case, compact, rugged, just feels right for the job. So you can actually get 10% off a Willingwood watch by using code FFPodcast. If you want to be part of the history and you want to wear it on your wrist, jump in the notes, check out Willingwood watches. Let's get back to the show.
Yeah. That's our hard line. because there's people that are fired up about this topic, man. They will lose their damn minds, even just hearing what I just said. Like, it's like the fact that I'm even remotely advocating for AI is, what are you doing? And it's like, well,
Yeah.
I don't know, baby. I feel like you
I
gotta.
think people said the
There's an
same
extent where
about
you
the
can use it.
car. You know, when the car was coming around, when the combustion engine was
Thanks.
coming around,
Yeah.
when computers started being used at
Mhm.
all, and we lost all of our note takers and our personal
Mhm.
admin officers and all that sort
Yeah.
of shit. Do you know what I mean? It's just
Scribes were pissed
yeah,
about a computer.
scribes were
Yeah.
pissed. They were so pissed. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But no one's
Exactly.
no one
Yeah.
shed a tear for them now, did they? Do you know what I
No.
mean? It's just like it's just evolution,
Yeah.
and it always births a new. So is it Kyle and Jamie that work with you?
Yeah. You got it. Yeah. Yeah, Jamie. I've known Jamie for probably close to 15 years now. He's a good friend of mine. And Kyle I've known for probably 2 to 3. Kyle does all the stitching and edge work and gluing and like bulk cutting and punching and does all the stuff. He does the more craftsman-esque
Mhm.
stuff where he comes in and does very trade specific tasks. And
Mhm.
then Jamie helps me paint. We got it. We're about to release some like meet the crew type videos because there's been some shields that
Nice.
Jamie's
Yeah.
painted, and it makes me feel kind of like shit because he painted it, and I tell him all the time, "You want me to credit? You want me to do this?" And he's like,
Yeah.
"No, dude. What if Fitzwater Leather's doing it, then I'm doing it, and we're good." And I'm like, "Well, but I would rather feel better." So kinda
Yeah.
like yeah, when there's
No.
some bangers that he's done a great job on, and I
Mm.
guess it's a testament to our training and, where our
Mhm.
techniques and the marketability of that when you get into the education side of things, like, "You can do this too," kinda thing, because look, you can't tell whether I painted it or Jamie painted it, and mind you, Jamie is a fantastic artist, so it helps that he's got the skill there, but yeah, we need to do some more stuff like that because we just did a post with a clown on the helmet shield that's going like our little small time version of viral,
Mhm.
and everybody's like, "Good job, man! Good job, man!" And I'm like, "Yeah, I did
Uh,
all the carving,
yeah.
but Jamie painted that thing, so I want to
Yeah.
be able to give him some credit too.
Yeah.
That's got him written all over it. He's a
It's
musician, and
similar
yeah,
to this in a way. It's like it looks like a very flattering thing that looks like you're
mhm.
doing it all yourself. Like we've got George and Liv that help out with the podcast and a
Yeah,
few other people because like you ain't got that much time to do all the shit, answering all the emails and the DMs and there's the product here and product there and then there's the travel side of it and then there's the editing and you know what I mean?
yeah,
And I've got kids and a missus and I'm still working as a
yeah,
firefighter. It's like, you can do all that
exactly.
stuff now. You reach that bottleneck
Yeah.
pretty quick.
That's something they don't teach you though. It's weird. That's where navigating a business, especially navigating a business is based in like in my personal experience, navigating a business that the foundation of it is based in my creative interests.
Mm-hmm.
And so it started off as a hobby
Mm-hmm.
and something that I just did for KC and then expanded outside of there. And as it expanded, the workload became more than what one man can handle.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like go with that success. I mean, we are experiencing no bones about it, success.
Oh
And it's
yeah.
like, sweet, okay, how do we capitalize off of that? And ultimately for the greater good of we don't sell leather, we sell pride. That's literally our little tagline slogan that
Mm-hmm.
we say in the shop. And so it's like, how do we continue to make the world a more beautiful place to get real artsy fartsy on you? But I
No, no,
really
no,
feel
no, no,
this way.
yeah.
How do you continue to make such at times an ugly trade because
Mm-hmm.
we deal with ugly things,
Mm-hmm.
a more beautiful place and honor people in the best way possible and keep up with that for the greater good while at the same time maintaining the integrity of the piece. And it's this weird juggle
It
of
is
like,
tough because
yeah,
you're effectively trying to scale up. You're trying to not quite go mass, but you're doing mass
hmm
production on a very intimate, personal thing. I mean, how much do these guys? If someone wanted to order a shield, well, I can look on the website, but what's the rough sort of
yeah,
figures?
um,
I mean, I know the shipping costs and all that jazz if people are doing it out of country,
sure,
out of state, and all that sort of jazz. But what's the sort of just as a talking point? What's the rough
yeah.
amount that these things cost?
I mean, I would say the bulk of our orders are somewhere between 250 to 275 USD.
Yeah.
So they're they're somewhere in the ballpark range. Most of them are in that 275 range because of what people want on them, because we've kind of made a name for ourselves of being the guys that can put anything on a fire helmet shield.
I
And
don't think that's a lot of money.
yeah, well, thank you.
Well,
That
I'm
means
just
that we're
saying, I don't know. I mean, I'd love you to
yeah,
send me one for less than that, but you know what I mean? I still
yeah,
would pay. I'd
sure.
happily pay that because it's 200 quid.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? For to have something that is such symbolism, pride,
Mhm.
identity, I just think it's so sad in the UK again that we don't like some stations, they don't even have their station number on the side of their fire engines or the name because they go,
Yeah.
well, this isn't your asset. This just belongs to so and so
Man.
fire and rescue service. That's not
Yeah.
station 19's rig. That's not station whatever. That is,
Man, what a missed
mate, it's
opportunity.
so
Yeah.
sad. It's
Oh,
so
yeah.
sad.
That's
Do
a
you know what
missed
I mean?
opportunity.
It's a missed
Yeah.
opportunity so much because also, just go back to the Jamie Carr thing. Ultimately,
Yeah.
the best thing is that they love this company so much that they walk around acting like it's their own because they're
Exactly.
so goddamn committed to it. And the
Mhm.
way for you to do that is I don't give a fuck if someone else, there's a reason I didn't call this the Pete Wakefield show, is because
Yeah.
I want people to go out there and be proud of information that they got from the Firefighters podcast. You know what I mean? It's just
Yeah.
Firefighters podcast. It's not Pete Wakefield. I don't even care if they forget my name. It doesn't matter because
Yeah.
then the brand, the thing that's there for a force for good. And yeah, you hope that, you make a bit of money doing it and you're not just wasting your time and everything like that. But that's how you
Yeah.
create champions. And really, without knowing it, that's what the fire service has done to people because people walk around going, I'm a firefighter. Now, actually, they're just an employee.
Yeah.
But the job that we do is so steeped in tradition. It's the moral compass in society. It's like
Exactly.
a symbol of good and safety and helping
Mhm.
people and fixing chaos. Do you know what I mean? That
Yeah.
people they weave their identity into it. It's such,
Yeah.
and that's why retirement can be so rough on firefighters because it's a death of an identity.
Yeah.
So, well, if I'm not a firefighter anymore, who am I? And we'll say I'm a firefighter forever. Your dad who's retired is still a
Yeah.
firefighter. It's a
Yeah.
mindset. It's an ethos. It's a way of life. And my sister says the same about teaching. Actually, my sister and my missus are both teachers, and they're like, it's not a job, it's a vocation. You're an educator.
Nice.
It's the way you think and it's the way you act. And no matter where you go, you're acting like a teacher. Not as in you're telling everybody off, but you know what I mean. You're looking to help
No.
people,
Yeah.
and you're recognizing that everybody's different and all that sort of stuff. And firefighters, there's a reason people love employing firefighters as second jobs because employing a firefighter is great. They're a problem solver. They work hard.
Yeah.
They'll make the thing happen. Whatever needs to happen, they'll find a way around it and all that sort of stuff. And we
Yeah.
create those champions because they're associated to the fire service. But I think to myself, you could make so much more of that if you let them personalize their kit. If you let them
Mhm.
walk around, stay in station 19, saying I went to one of the news stations again in Atlanta, and they had like West Street Wreckers and like big patches and big posters on the walls and on the tables, and the
Yeah.
service had paid for it. The service had
Yeah.
paid for them to have their station symbol
Nice.
that they came up
That's
with
lucky.
themselves.
That's really good.
Do
Yeah.
you know what
That's
I mean?
cool.
But they
Yeah.
understand. Let them do it.
Yeah.
Because then they will do more than just work for the thing. And I'm not talking about manipulating people. I'm just saying, like,
No.
we're in this together. Like, let them be proud of it. Do you know what I
Well,
mean? Because
shared ownership
we
and
always say our
responsibility.
greatest
Yeah.
asset is our people, and
Yeah.
yet they're the ones we hit over the head most. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like your
I
people
do.
are your greatest asset. So trust
Yeah.
them, empower them, let them be champions of our cause, which is firefighting. I'm
Absolutely.
super passionate about it. Sorry, I went on a little rant
No.
there.
No. I mean,
Pisses me off
you're right
so
in
much,
alignment
mate.
with what we
So
do.
pisses me off.
You know. Yeah.
I know.
You're. I. Yeah. I can't even imagine like this is all I've ever known on this side, where it is individualized logos and stickers thrown on the fire trucks. And, we have like a board that you have to appeal like new logos and stuff like that to put something on the fire truck. It has to go through a board system, but that's pretty loose. It's not much of a filter. It basically all gets pushed out unless it's complete vulgarity, then you're gonna get it on the side of your fire truck and that's fine. But I'm pretty sure the station will come together and purchase a rig sticker,
Yeah.
So something like that, a door logo gets placed by us. That's something that's unique and specific to the rig itself. And
Mm.
we Fitzwater Leather operates as kind of like a little miniature design firm. We do usually have 3 to 4 slow cooked rig logo style designs that we work on for people just because we can draw.
Mm-hmm.
And whether it's me or Jamie or collaboratively between the two of us, we'll draw out rig logos and stuff. Generally speaking, I'm the one that does it because Jamie's not a firefighter. So there's been a few times where I'm like, dude, that that rig is supposed to look like this, and he wouldn't know. It's no offense to him, he wouldn't know. I literally had the conversation with him day before yesterday about it. Where I was like, "You made that rig look like one of those Euro rigs, and that ain't gonna fly on the way over here in America. You can't do that. We don't drive those." So, just a little fun banter.
That's great to have people because, like, Liv's not in the fire service. Her partner is a firefighter, but she doesn't. She obviously understands parts of the fire service the more and more she works with us. But
sure, yeah.
I have this thing about, like, part of me romantically would like only firefighters to be involved in it because we say, it's made by firefighters for firefighters, and George is a firefighter. But some firefighters are lazy as shit. That's the problem as well. Some of them are really lazy. They want everything for nothing, and some of them are lazy. And we've had a number of people where it's just like, brother, like, you're not fucking doing anything. You know what I mean? No. You're not doing the stuff you said you were going to do. And I know I get with brothers and I get with friends, but trying to make something happen here, dude. There's a deadline. Like for you, orders got to go out Friday. The person's made it. It's a 6-week delivery, whatever.
Yeah.
What's going on, bro?
No, you get too familiar. So that's kind of that's a thing. I definitely agree with that. There's a saying, like, there's some guys on the fire department that say, like, I won't hire a firefighter to do my paint my house or whatever, just because I know I'm going to get thrown on the back burner because he knows I'm a firefighter and I'll understand. And it's
that's
like,
the thing. That is a thing.
That makes sense. You know what I'm saying? There's familiarity there. It's like, I'll cut him a
Quick pause, because I want to tell you about a new partnership we have with First Tactical. First Tactical builds equipment for people who work when environments are seriously unforgiving. And if you go to their website, you'll find kit is designed specifically for us, for firefighters, for police officers, technical rescue teams, fire investigation, hazmat, hazardous materials teams, urban search and rescue. This is honestly the equipment that you really want to rely on. It's built for real operations, real pressure, long ass days, and I genuinely use this stuff. Here's a few of my favorites. They've got their men's Defender short sleeve. I've got that in black. It's got a huge load of specialized pockets, space for all of our gears, the pads, the pens, all of the stuff. It's got them on the sleeves on both sides. Also got the Defender pants. These have got 28 pockets in total on them. It's mad. Let's be honest, we absolutely love the bags. I use their 25-litre specialist half-day backpack. The shoulder straps as well are strong AF. Like I say, this isn't lifestyle gear. It's built for real world, real operations. We talk about the realities of the job, and First Tactical is just the ideal partnership for us. So go take a look, firsttactical.co.uk. Now back to the show. I had a firefighter paint my massive kitchen in my last house. I haven't got a big kitchen now. I got divorced, I had to get rid of it. But it was a bloody huge thing. Oh my God. I felt horrific because he made a terrible job of it. Paint goddamn everywhere, ruined one of the units, all over the light switches. Yeah. And he did it whilst we were on holiday because I said, we're away for a week. Here's the keys. Cheers, appreciate it. And they sent me a bill whilst I was away, which is fine. And then I came back and my ex-wife was like horrified. And I was like, oh, shit. And she was like, we can't pay him for this. I said, I've got to pay him, baby. I'm not that guy that doesn't pay him. Jesus Christ.
Now we're getting into the weird fire relationship.
Yeah, no. I can't not pay him because that would be wildfire. You know what I mean? And there's no point me taking photos and I have them on my phone for everyone that says, how come you didn't pay so-and-so? And I'm like, look at what he did. Doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Like, everybody will know you didn't pay. So I paid him anyway. But I was just like, we had to pay someone else to do it again. And I was just like, oh, Jesus.
Double pay.
So grounds work. I've had a lot of firefighters do grounds work and in the garden and
There's
stuff.
There's a lot of guys that do that.
That's always really good. You know what I mean?
No brainer.
Yeah, but some stuff inside the house sometimes it's I'm not a big fan of it. So how do you fit this in around all of your work? What do you see as the capacity for this? You say you're at 3 people already. And talk to me a little bit around the international sales. Because will you guys be able to supply helmets as well? I'm just thinking about the UK audience because there's people over here with money as well. And, because they would look at the shields and they're like, well, the shields, I'll buy one of them in a heartbeat, but I'd love to get, so a lot of people would love to get themselves a helmet plus that. Do you guys have that provision?
Yeah. No, we don't sell fire helmets.
You should.
Although it's been something that's been tossed around.
Trying to
But I
reclaim the old
also,
ones would be hard though, because they're
yeah,
stuck in people's
oh,
attics and da 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 da. You don't want to
yeah,
buy new ones because there's no
no,
point. You know what I mean?
yeah. I don't know. There's plenty of I mean, we're so loaded with just the shields and the art
I
itself
know,
that
I know.
that to dive into the helmet game would be that's a whole separate business. There's people that literally only do that, you know?
Yeah.
Uh, and as far as, like, yeah, new helmets goes, there's plenty of people that I can, like, refer, that kinda thing,
Mhm.
where it would be one of those situations where I got a plenty of recommendations. Ladder Company Leather, we did their display shields for their helmets, when you go to buy them or, for advertising, we made 2 shields for them that he's out of Savannah, Georgia, and he's just a sweetheart, and so it's like anybody who's asked me, like, "Are you selling helmets?" I'm like, "No, but I'm gonna send you to him because he's awesome," you know? So that's kind of the
So if
the
people
aspect
wanted
of that
to,
kinda
so
stuff.
if we just
Mhm,
after this, because I want to give people
mhm,
something to act on. We're not finished, but like
sure,
if we got a link or 2 links, because I'm sure, and you might want to promote one specific company, you might want to promote a couple. But if we said, look, helmet here, you could buy a generic helmet, £1,000,
mhm,
whatever it is, and
yeah,
then bang, you go to Fitzwater. That's where we're getting that from. Because some people would do this because
yeah,
for change of stations, retirement gifts, even parents
yeah,
wanting to buy one, for their son and daughter or whatever.
yeah,
Man, these are so popular over here.
I
People
can
love
most
them.
certainly do that. Yeah,
We're
we
gonna do that. I
can
want to talk about some of the other stuff you do as well because you got the
sure.
I love the can saddles. Where did you come up with that
Thanks.
idea for? They're cool.
Yeah, well, if if a fireman loves fighting fire, he probably it's like there's multiple loves with a fireman, and drinking's usually one of those loves.
Yeah.
So, even though I'm actually a sober soul myself as of this year,
I
but
haven't drank for
the
16 years.
yeah, oh, see,
Well, I
dude,
drink a
everybody, I'm
shit
starting to
ton
meet
of
more and more
caffeine.
people like this. Yeah, yeah.
Why is drinking
Uh,
going out of fashion? This is
I
weird.
don't know.
I
Well,
get why
probably because it
smoking went out of
sucks for
fashion.
you.
Like in
Yeah,
Europe,
yeah,
we got
yeah,
smoking bans in like restaurants and stuff, and that was remarkably
yeah,
successful. Like it's
yeah,
blowing my mind how few firefighters smoke now because everybody used to smoke,
yeah.
and now
Well,
everyone.
across the pond, you guys
I
still
mean,
be
don't get me
ripping
wrong.
those
I'm
heaters.
zinning
Yeah,
the shit out of life, and
yeah. Well, me too. Yeah,
and
absolutely. Nicotine's not going anywhere.
nicotine
Yeah,
and caffeine because
nicotine's not
I
going
went through addiction recovery in my early 20s, so
anywhere.
I'm still having a buzz off something all the goddamn time. I have to watch out because I can get a bit too addicted. I got addicted to bloody
It's okay.
sleeping medication recently. Christ
Yeah.
alive, accidentally,
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
I was so busy doing everything else, and I was like, I need some help. And it's just this thing called Nitol. You can buy it off Amazon. It's
Yeah.
not a
Yeah.
prescription drug or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I've been taking it for 3.5 weeks, right? And then I'd
Yeah.
started getting even tireder in the middle of the day. And I was
Oh.
like, what the fuck is this? So I read the packet and then I put it through, Chat GPT and stuff. And it's like, yeah, should only be taken for a maximum of 2 weeks. If you keep taking it, you get drowsy during the day. It can increase cognitive decline and bring on early onset dementia. I
Get
was
out.
like, fucking get rid of that
I'm out.
shit.
I'm
Well,
out.
didn't
Just
read
take
that
some
one.
magnesium. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah,
Yeah.
I got
Yeah.
magnesium, muscle, sort of relaxing and stuff, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But
But
yeah, I think there's something about firefighters, especially, that we're very obsessive. I think neurodiversity is massive in the fire service. Undiagnosed neurodiversity. I'm not like talking flag
sure.
waving neurodiversity. I'm like,
Yeah.
because these are people that can't exist in a normal job. Do you know what I mean? They can't
Yeah.
do a 9 to 5. They can't work in the office with Janice and Karen. Do you know what I mean? They need
Yeah.
to do a thing that's a little bit different. And because of that, we pick up addictions. We have mental health issues. But
Yeah.
I always just think of us as lovable freaks. You know what I mean? There's a bunch of
Yeah.
lovable freaks, and we just got to look after each other a little bit more.
I agree.
But I'm going to get myself one of them saddles. Though I'm going to send you a bunch of stuff after
Thanks.
this. I want to put a bit of an order in for something. Could you do the
Sure.
designs on them as well? Because I see there's 3 on there.
Yeah.
You've got the standard ones, you've got the customs, and then you've got the suede lined customs, which is the one
Yeah.
I've got my eye
Oh,
on. So
geez.
do people submit a
Uh,
design for that as well, or how's that crack work?
yeah. Yeah. Generally speaking, so we're in the process of a bit of a shift, with those, because that's one of those. That is probably my love hate product because it's
Yeah.
like
There's probably not a
I
much
like
much
to.
profit in the
They're
margin
unique.
on it.
No,
What's a
and
ball
you got to
ache?
keep that price low. But I spend just about as much time on those as I do about a $300 shield. So it's like, ah, damn.
I
So
know.
we're we bought a laser so we can make stamps and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'll be able to at some point more commercialize that product, and
Yeah.
that'll be more of a promotional thing. In that,
You sound like
and
you need
as
a
of right
fourth
now, it
person.
still is what it is. But yeah, yeah,
Good, good, good.
it'll become a situation where we're able to, because generally speaking, a lot of the people that buy those, they don't give a damn that it's hand carved. They just
No.
wanted their business logo or something like that
Yeah.
on it, and it's like,
Yeah.
okay,
That'd be me.
now shield and the pride and everything behind that kind of stuff, and then the art itself is definitely going to be uncompromised.
Hmm.
But you know, that goes back where we're in this like weird transition of growth here, where we are turning
Hmm.
out product, and I'm bottlenecked. It's me at this desk that I'm sitting at right now all
Mm.
the time.
Yeah,
And
man.
so how do you expand out and relinquish some of the responsibility and let my guys ride a little bit? And that's yeah, we just bought like
It's
an eight
so
thousand
hard
dollar
though, isn't
laser.
it?
So
Because I have a
yeah.
similar thing in a very different way. I mean, but there's my stuff, if you put it out and something's wrong, you just rip it off the internet. Everything we do kind of exists on the internet. I mean, we do have some products and stuff. We don't make any money on ours though. Ours are all just brand awareness. Ours is drop shipping,
Mhm,
so we don't hold any of the products. We tested loads of different stuff, and these are just hoodies and stickers and crap like that.
mhm,
But it's all just brand awareness because I'm like, I'm not gonna handle clothing. I'm not gonna fucking. I just not. I don't want to touch it. I don't want to touch it. I
yeah,
don't want that mess. That's not the main thing we do. Keep the
it is a
main thing the
mess.
main thing.
Mhm,
There are actual artists. There are you. There's people like you out there. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
I don't need to be stepping on your turf and trying to make money doing random stuff because it just
it's
ain't
hard.
worth it. A, it's
Yeah,
hard. B, your sort of stuff is something you give as a gift. Do you know what I mean?
mhm,
It's a real. It's a thing of pride. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Ours is just knowledge and CPD and awareness and stuff like that. It's not that it's
yeah,
more or less, but I'm like, we ain't
yeah,
going to step on your, because I saw the locker tags as well, and I thought to myself,
yeah,
that that is another great small product, but they must still take time. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? It's just
yeah.
like,
Everything takes
I
time,
know
but
everything takes
you
time, but
know,
it's like,
like a locker tag, just whipping out somebody's name on it. That on a scale of time, that
yeah,
takes probably the least amount of time. A
yeah.
locker tag takes less time than one of those damn can saddles. Those things,
Is
geez,
it because you got to
koozies.
wrap them and pin them and
But
stuff? Is that because the ball ache? Is because there's an extra bit of craftsmanship involved in it because it actually has to be
no,
wrapped. Okay.
no, it's because the subjectivity of the art. So like if I just
Uh,
put
it's
your
just
name on it,
it's just
then
a name.
I might change the font up, maybe do a different background texture, maybe do some different paint colors. But
Mhm.
that's as far as that goes. Otherwise, I'm putting like we just did a few for Wichita Rescue One for a father ordered them for his daughter who's on there, and then her captain and stuff. And those like the full logo on this koozie essentially is what it is. And
Mhm.
like that took forever because now it's going from my tooling bench over to Jamie's paint bench to paint it, over to
Mhm.
Kyle's. I mean, you got to think just the assets alone that go into this one can saddle or koozie, if you will, is insane. So
Mm.
that's it's crazy. When I first started doing it, I was like, nobody else is doing that. That's cool. I just what else can I make to house the art that I create or my tooling expertise? What else can I put this stuff on? And
Mhm.
then that was something that came up, but nobody wants to pay $150 for a koozie. So it's like,
Well,
okay, we got to get it somewhere
there'll
in
be
the
a lot
middle.
less people. A lot less people
Yeah,
would want to.
yeah,
It might just
just to
and
hold
that's
their
the thing.
beer.
Like you don't want to have 50 variations of small products necessarily, unless you've got the capacity to keep changing up your work spaces and keep
Correct.
changing up the rigs and all that sort of
Yeah,
stuff. Because every time you got to set up, you ideally just want to set up and punch out 50 tags in a day or whatever. Do you know what I mean? To make it worth your
yeah.
time.
That's where we're headed with those, is a
That's
more
the issue with
production
scale. Well,
level.
that's what I mean. Like,
Mhm.
I imagine if you got in a brand new person that you weren't sure where their skills are, you're not going to let them rip on a shield. But you go, look,
No.
right, you handle tags and you do whatever. You send out the
Yeah,
stickers, you do this, you do that. Do you know what I mean? But
exactly.
finding good people,
Woo!
that
Now you're on
is
a
the
topic.
goddamn. Let's
Yeah,
go there.
sure.
Talk to me about getting into bed in business. So I don't mean like making them part of your
It's
business, but even just employing
yeah,
people, because that I think if you're even 10% of a savage, you are going to walk all over people in this earth now, because agency, drive, follow through, these principles are becoming like a one-legged rocking horse. Do you know what I mean? You can't
Man,
find these
uh,
things anymore.
I say that to my son all the time. I got twin boys that are turning 17 on the 23rd. And so I'd
Well
say
done for
one of
surviving
them's
that so
got,
far.
oh,
Fuck.
oh man.
Yeah.
Well, one of them's got cerebral palsy. And so he's kind of on his own playing field. He's got cerebral palsy, global developmental delay, and he's got cortical visual impairment. So he's legally blind. And so
Whoa.
he's a hoot. Don't feel sorry for him. That dude's a dick. He,
Good.
he's a
So he should
great
be.
time.
Don't be a
He's
volunteer victim.
hilarious.
You know,
Yeah,
he's
no
got,
way. He's good.
yeah, good.
But his twin brother is more neurotypical per se. And he yeah, I tell him that exact thing all the time. Like, dude, if you understand the concept, the old Miyamoto Musashi quote, which is once you know the way generally you see it in all things. If you can just apply this like workhorse mentality to pretty much everything you do, you're going to be miles ahead of the person who wants to just play video games all day, which is a majority of the people your age. So
There's
it's
people our age doing
yeah.
it.
Oh,
What
dude,
the
you're telling me.
fuck?
It's addicting. I do it sometimes. I'm like, man,
I
I
wouldn't
don't have
dare
any
get
time at
involved in
home,
it. I
but
would get
you
addicted
can't.
so
Yeah,
fast. But
you
like when my
can't. They're set
missus,
up to do that.
when she was dating and stuff, she said if she
Yeah,
saw on a dating profile anything to do, like if they were into football or soccer as you would call it, or if they're into
sure.
fishing, if there's a picture of them with a fish, or if there's a picture, or if they say anything about gaming, she's like, no, fuck that. So just I
She's
get
out.
rid of them straight away. I'm not going to be somebody's mum. It is beyond a privilege to be able to bring the Firefighters podcast to you, and we are so grateful for every single person that supports, listens, shares, and follows our journey. And to help us keep doing it, create more, reach more guests internationally, and make the podcast sustainable, we're asking for you to help. And to do this, we've set up a Patreon page. By joining our Patreon community, you will get access to every single full episode archive we have ever made. Now, hundreds and hundreds of key documents that we've got in there on fire behavior, firefighter health, cancer risks, incident debriefs, and so much more. So if you feel like you want to join the Patreon crew and help us make this possible, head to patreon.com/TFFPC or check the link in any episode podcast notes. So gaming, I think of what we're doing is a game. Life's a game. You know, life has rules. Sure. It's a game. You do certain things. You learn certain techniques. Back to the Miyamoto Miyamoto. What's his last name?
Musashi.
I was going to say Musashi. Back to that. When you learn these principles of life and you gamify it, that's the best way to win in real life. But the problem is, gaming, as in virtual gaming, is a bit like, obviously it's a simulation, but it's simulated life because you get the same reward metric. Oh, dude, like you're level 7 Call of Duty, you're level 450 on this game, whatever the game is. You get adulation, you get admiration from people in your community, and that becomes a gamification of life. But it's not real. Do you know what I mean? And someone said to me the other day, like we laugh at the moth that confuses the light bulb for the moon, yet there you are confusing the screen for the world. And I'm like,
well, I like this. I like where we're headed with this. I never thought about it like that because that's what I told my wife, was like, I couldn't dive into video games heavily as I got older because I was like, I have nothing to show for it. If you turn the console off, it's over. And it's like, oh, what am I have nothing to show for that. But I do. I love that. That's exactly how I feel. But you make a valid point, and something I never considered is the more people that gravitate towards the video games, and the more that this becomes a major thing with people younger than us, it becomes a community, and therefore they do kind of have something to show for it. And what an
what's really
interesting
morbid
concept.
I almost want to let them, and that sounds so horrible, but then like the competitive landscape almost becomes easier because you've just opted out of it without even realizing it. You've just benched yourself from the game because you're obsessed with this thing that's adding no tangible value to your life. You are definitely going to wake up at some point when you go to bed at night and you lie down and you're like, oh yeah, I crushed it on, I don't know any of the games, so I just keep saying Call of Duty. It was Metal Gear Solid when I was a kid. Metal Gear Solid, Grand Theft Auto, and there's probably a few others back then. But I'm like, you'll lie down and go, oh, I didn't achieve anything today. I didn't get anything done with my time. What a waste of my day. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's the only place where I'm seeking what we all need, which is we need to serve a purpose. I think that's why, a lot of people come into the fire department, is because it has a very clear sense of purpose and it has a short reward loop. So like someone's having the worst day of their life. You and your friends go there, you do a thing, you put out the fire, you extricate them from the car, you do whatever, and immediately you feel a sense of gratification. Before we were here, it was goddamn chaos. Now we've arrived, we've done a thing, we've got the reward, bang. Whereas a longer reward metric, like in a lot of other organizations, you send 1,000 emails today and you're working on a spreadsheet, and maybe in 9 months' time, it might move the needle left or right. It might get some more sales. It might do this, but it's a very, very, very long reward loop. Do you know what I mean? Whereas you, bang, someone makes an order, I make the thing, they pay me, I send it to them, they go, Jesus Christ, man, that was great, Justin, I love it, send you a photo, whatever. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think finding your passion and finding a way to do that is so very rare. Because I think you said about AI earlier, like people worry about AI because they're like, it's going to ruin everybody's job. Like what? And the other side of that is no, it'll automate all of the boring shit that nobody, or most of the boring shit nobody wants to do, like general emails and admin and whatever.
Sure.
And we go, it will release you into your passion. And people go, but Justin, like I've not found it. I don't have a passion. It's all right for you. You've got this thing that you love and you're very creative and you make these great pieces of art. I have nothing. I don't know what I'm doing. And that's the sad thing, because I think people do have that. They had it when they were a kid. Do you know what I mean? Your boys probably have a passion each. And something about society just kind of beats it out of us. I don't know if it's the education that we get and like we're told to sit in rows and don't copy each other and wear the same stuff, do the same stuff.
Yeah.
But that's not what we were supposed to do.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
We're trying so desperately to fit in, we forget we were designed to stand out. Do you know what I mean? There's something the best thing Justin can do is Justining, which is being Justin. There's no point in Justin trying to be Pete. You'd make a shit Pete, and I'd make a shit Justin. Do you know what I mean? Because I ain't Justin.
Agree with that 100%.
I could make shields, but they wouldn't be like yours, and they shouldn't want to be like yours. Because that's not me, is it? This is art, and we all have that in us.
That's the job security in the creative market. Is somebody can do something, and there for a while, we take good pride in being very transparent with how we make stuff. And my wife at first, because my wife is like the business owner. My wife runs this whole ship. She answers if you message us online 9 times out of 10. I actually answer your guys' message, but that was just because I got excited about it. But like, she'll get on there and she'll answer all the customer questions. She sends all the emails. She sends all the invoices. She does all the numbers. She actually is at our tax guy office right now handling business taxes. She runs this ship 100%. We all answer to Tiffany.
Yeah.
And so
shout out Tiffany.
She is a godsend. She used to always come back and be like, do you think you're giving away too many trade secrets? Because in the leather world, it used to be, especially in like saddle shops, you ask any old saddle maker, that's where the creme de la creme, the like written in stone 10 commandments of leather usually starts with saddle making for most people. And when you would go into an old saddle shop back in the day when saddles were a big thing, right? Talk about advancing in technology. There's so few saddle makers now, but you'd go in there and guys, in the moment you addressed that you were interested in getting into leathercraft, guys would cover up their work.
Really?
This is old stories. I've never experienced it. This is just
I would imagine
that's
the case because I used to own 3 horses. Saddles are ridiculously expensive. And they only fit 1 horse.
And the craftsmanship.
So when your bloody horse dies or gets lame, that saddle's useless, to be honest with you. You can sometimes get them tailored depending if you get a similar size horse and height, but you might as well not bother. It literally just is
No,
to get rid of it, to be honest with you. But
exactly.
I think they've realized now, similar to what I was saying, like there's so few savages, you could show people everything. Some
Yeah,
people just ain't going to do the work.
no.
You know what I mean?
And people will ask to have their handheld big time, which I tend to do to an extent. You got to have some sort of stuff where you do a little bit of research. But especially if somebody's interested in getting into a craft like this, which is so obscure compared to the normal, I'm not.
Uh,
They're not asking me how to draw. They're asking me how to do a very isolated and specific craft.
yeah.
So I'll answer all the questions I can. Tiff answers a lot of questions, and
Uh,
she would say, like, "You think you're giving out too much?" And it's like, no, because I'm an individual and we are individuals in the shop. And if somebody were to make the exact same shield that I made side by side, there'd be a difference.
yeah.
And the people that
Competition is
buy
healthy. Yeah, I agree.
and the people that buy your information are not the same people that buy the product from you.
This
Those
is
are
very
two
true.
totally different markets. So,
Yes. I get what
so
you're saying.
that
Yeah.
somebody buys my information or comes to me for information, they're not infringing upon my sales of my product
They
at
were
all
never going to be
whatsoever.
a customer. No,
No, they were never going to be.
no.
But the person that buys my product may buy more information. I don't know, but odds are those are two totally different sales worlds.
Mm,
So I
mm.
give all the information that we possibly can. I'm not like some Robin Hood of leathercraft information, but I feel like it's worth it to share trade secrets as many as you can.
Mm.
Um, which is why I try to be transparent even about you know the use of technology in a traditional medium. So.
But even your willingness to do this is probably a little bit different, like as income on a podcast, because the number one global fear is public speaking and feeling like you look like a dick or something like that. It's like no one cares. Don't worry, no one
No,
cares. Do you know what I mean?
no.
But this is just sort of such a fantastic way to pitch yourself and access different markets. But that takes a tremendous you got to get over yourself more than anything else. I wanted to
Oh, yeah.
do you
Go
mind
ahead.
if we circle back to the family thing for a second?
Sure. I would love to.
I wanted to
They're my
ask
favorite
you
people, so I'm good.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
What has your son, specifically your son that has a physical challenge,
Mhm.
um, what's that taught you about patience and like
Hmm.
perspective or what actually matters? Because I often think having a kid is like the best personal development tool. Not that you should have a
Yeah.
kid to better yourself, but what I mean is like when you do have a kid,
No, but
you
it is a good
go,
side effect. You're
it
right.
is a
Yeah.
great side effect
Yeah.
because it forces you to get over yourself. Who do I really think I am? Who am I when no one's watching? Because a kid watches you all the time.
All the
You know what
time.
I mean? What's being a dad taught you?
Uh, a lot. I would say that the number one thing I had a young guy ask me. I went and saw like a personal trainer there for a little while at the beginning of the year,
Mm,
and he just started dating and he was looking at the prospect of having children, and he asked me a couple of questions about that, which isn't something you frequently get asked. You would think being an avid father is what I would call it. I'm a very avid father. I enjoy being a dad. That's all I've ever really wanted to be down to my root gut, other than an artist, was a father.
mm,
And so, you know, I he asked me if what was the number one piece of advice I would give to somebody who wants to be a father, and I would say the fact that you want to be and you want to be a good one makes you a good one.
yeah.
Because
Mm,
you're going to be okay. Like I have two sons and a daughter, and so when my daughter was a baby, I sat her up on the island and when went to go to the bathroom real quick. She was a little one. She was like maybe pushing one, right at the time where they're starting to stand up,
mm,
and she was in her little car seat on the island like a dumbass. I put her up there, and then I heard a boom on the kitchen floor and crying as I'm peeing. I'm like, "Oh my god, I just ruined my child." I ran out in the kitchen. Luckily, her head didn't hit the ground. If anything, it probably hit the little anti-fatigue mat in front of the sink.
mhm,
But what you realize in that moment is I felt so bad. I hugged her and told her I'm so sorry, and not that she really understood what I was saying, but
mhm,
it was you realize that the kids are so durable. They're
mhm,
made to be durable, and you're doing your best, and
mm,
and doing your best in your heart and soul, wanting to be a good dad makes you a good dad. Because
mm,
the scale of good or bad dad really rests in the intentionality of it,
mhm,
in my opinion.
mm,
So I mean, obviously, you can make dumb mistakes, and then somebody be like, "What a shit dad," because he made a dumb mistake. But I don't look at it that way. You're trying your best, and your kids will ultimately come to you with the perspective that you gave it your all to try to be a good dad. As far as patients go,
Mm.
I when I was in high school, I was an educational intern, learning. I was going to be a football coach because I played collegiate football. I was going to be a football coach at American football. Um, I was going to be an American football coach and a special education teacher. And
Mm.
my wife already had, when I met Tiffany, she already had the boys. So I met them when they were 4 years old, and it was kind of an ironic turn. You talk about synchronicity and coincidence and all that stuff. It was weird that I had spent basically my entire time up until this point with the prospective career path of being a football coach at whatever level I could, and a
Mm.
special education teacher, and then I meet this woman who has a special needs son,
Mm.
and I mean, you callbacks all the way to when I was investing in special education. I remember my mom. I remember telling her, like, if there's somebody who's going to have a special needs child, it's going to be me. At a young age, like middle school. If there's
Mm.
somebody who's going to have a special needs child, it's me, because I feel a passion for this, and it makes me feel really good, and I think I can handle that. And I
Yeah.
remember my mom, bless her heart, this is her son that's saying that. She's like, that's a really hard job. So just I wouldn't jump the gun on that and wish that upon yourself, because that is going to be difficult. Well, ironically enough, look at the position that I'm in now,
Mm.
where I got a special needs son that calls me dad every day. They're my adoptive sons. They're Fitzwaters, and it's one of those things where it's taught me a lot, but I also feel like I was, not to sound too inflated, but I feel like I was always set up for that task, like from a young age. Like,
Mm.
this is something that I've been really, really good with people with special needs. They're like my that's one of my pillars of favoritism, is in the special needs department. I think it's hilarious. We have a great time. And
Do you think
and
there's
so
something
yeah.
about your artistic element that feeds that as well? Because I always think of art is seeing the world differently to others. You're seeing something like my dad he was ran a building company for 40 years, and he would obviously be able to see a building before it was even there.
Mhm.
He'd say, can you see it? And I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know what you're saying. Do you know what I mean? Like, well, can you see it?
Nice.
The
Yeah.
columns are going to be here. The walls are going to be here. We're going to need to do this. We're going to need to do that. And he can see something
Mhm.
before it's even there, and he has to be able to see it to design it,
Yeah.
to
Exactly.
throw that into the universe for it to
Mhm.
then become a manifest it and to create it.
Yeah. Exactly.
He wasn't as romantic with his words as I am, perhaps,
Sure.
but that's what I took away. And the more and more I reflect on it, um, I also think about. Have you heard of like immortality projects? It's a rough way
Mm.
to think of families, but like I think a kid is also part of like an immortality project. It's
Okay.
when something is going to be left behind that's part of you. And I see that
Yeah.
in a craft as well, or a service, or a reputation, or a legacy. Do you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
something of me. And I think all of us want that. I think we want to feel like there was a point to us being here. Otherwise, what? Because
Okay.
without getting too deep into the purpose of the
No,
universe, it's
you're
like
speaking my language.
what the hell
Yeah.
are we doing here? And if you're
Yeah.
not going to invest into something that's here like we've had a couple of guests who have unfortunately passed away. We've been doing it 6 or 7 years now on the podcast. And I think
Yeah.
to myself, imagine if you could hear your great great grandfather or grandmother or whatever
Mhm.
when they were in their 20s, when they're in their 30s, when they were in the
Yeah.
prime of their life, speaking with passion and,
Yeah.
such depth and excitement, and you could hear the life in their voice.
Yeah.
Because
I think
most
it's
people are
amazing.
never going to write a book. Most of us are
No.
never going to put our memoirs down. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the only thing that's going to live is within our next generation, or now through technology. People, your great great grandkids can come back and listen to this, unless the internet's been destroyed by then. Do you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
something will still be around,
yeah.
and I think
Blessed is the man that plants a tree; he'll never seek shade with him, or whatever.
that's it. No, that's leadership.
Yeah.
Great
Yeah.
leaders, and I see
Yeah.
families, mothers, fathers, as all leaders, plant in trees under which will never sit. That
Yeah.
is the
There you
true
go.
thing. And I
Yeah.
think that's where politicians get it wrong, because they live in quarters and they live in 4-year cycles or whatever. And it's like the best thing to do is, like, the best way to get healthy is the same way you got sick. It's going to be slowly. So if it's took you 20 years to get here, like it's going to take 20 years to get back. But the change that I think about that when there's a couple of nice parks where I live, and I think to myself, literally what you said, like the person that designed this, they put all these trees in a row and they did the thing of when they planted, they were never going to see it. They were never going to see it. They did some artistic drawings and they were never going to see it.
There it is.
And you're like,
but now you get to enjoy it.
Now we get to enjoy it, but that is so. I think that's a special kind of contribution to the world. But I think of that
that's raising
with
kids.
That's raising kids, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's raising kids.
Do
you know what I mean?
I mean, I'll get to see them as adults, hopefully, God willing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's I think each little step is just continuing to water the tree that we've planted. And that's an exciting thing. It's fun. I mean, I like I said, I saw these kids. I met the boys are the ones that's crazy. I mean, my daughter's 6. She's my biological. So
same situation for me.
Tiff,
I had 2 stepsons in my old relationship, and now my daughter's 13.
Nice.
Mad.
See, so yeah, you got to give it we had to try. I wanted to see what my DNA made, at least give it an effort. I mean, they share my social DNA.
Yeah.
They are a lot like me, just through raising and nurture over nature kind of thing or whatever. But they, I see it more in the boys, the wild turn of events and timelines and how everything changes. And it seems like in a blink of an eye. And it's almost cliche at this point, like, man, time flies, doesn't it? And it's like, but sincerely, what is even time? Because I met these boys. Luke wasn't walking. Luke was scooting around on the floor. He was still in diapers at the age of 4. We potty trained him 3 times.
Yeah.
He spoke echolalic like a parrot. So if he seriously, it's a real thing. So like if you said if he didn't want to do something, he would say no. Like, you want to go outside? No. But if he wanted to go outside and I said, do you want to go outside? He would say, you want to go outside? And it's like, all right, that means you want to go outside. Let's go. And now he speaks full sentences, carries conversations, walks on 2 legs, no longer has a gastric feeding tube. Like all of these various things. And it's just crazy to see the progression of an individual and a human being who was never supposed to, walk or talk or the level of severity of his disability was kind of up in the air. So it's like, wow, patience. I have very little like the next man next to me. I think, we all kind of, that is an ever present work in progress. But I think having a disabled child in the home helps you take things a little less seriously. You realize it ain't that big of a deal, and it'll definitely humble you. Because your 17-year-old might need help because he got a stomach bug, and you might need to go wipe a couple of asses. And he's 17 and probably should be able to handle that. But when he's got a curled up hook hand on his right side, you know what I mean? That sounds not PC, but he's my son. So that's what he's got. His right hand's kind of curled up, so he can't get it in there very good. So you got to get it done. And that translated well to the fire department. Being able to kind of humble yourself and put yourself aside, and this person is in need and needs help, and you are the one that's going to do it. That's
when people feel uncomfortable around people who have a severe physical inability or challenge, or even a verbal challenge, and people say like, "Oh, I don't want to say anything because I don't want to make them feel uncomfortable." I think what they really mean is they don't want to feel uncomfortable. Because 100%. That person doesn't care. That person lives with it every day.
Yeah.
That person lives with it every day. It's normal to them. It's not normal to you. So you are just shielding yourself by going, I don't want to ask so-and-so if they want to be involved because I don't want to embarrass them when they say, I can't catch a ball actually, or I can't do this. And then no one cares. Do you know what I mean? And I think what you're actually doing is just protecting yourself. It's a bit like when someone dies or someone's going through something bad and you're like, I don't want to ask Justin about how things are, his mom's just died. So I mean, it's like, well, ask him. Just ask him. You know what I mean? The worst thing you'll say is, yeah, man, I've told the story 10 times today, to be honest, I don't feel like talking about it or whatever. But he might go, I'm just so glad like no one's asked me, to be honest, like fucking I just want to cry. And you might not know what to do when Justin starts crying. And that's really what you're saying is you don't want to deal with that discomfort.
Correct.
When, you know what I mean? I think the way that we make people feel. And I don't remember, like, I think maybe our real immortality projects aren't the things that we build that will be remembered for. Maybe it's the people who were felt by us, and maybe who felt loved by us. I think it was Maya Angelou was like, people will forget what you did, they'll forget what you said, but they'll always remember how you made them feel. They'll always remember how you made them feel.
That's
you
a
know
good
what
one.
I mean?
I
And
love
the way
that.
that people have interactions with your son or your daughter or with you or just with each other, it's like, you know, are you trying to be right? Are you trying to be heard? Or are you just trying to connect with that person? Because I think that's all we're here for. That's it. We're just here for connection. That's kind of connection and paying it forward. That's the biggest thing.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, life's a fucking lonely old place. I want to
That's
be
the
respectful
whole
of your
way
time.
I can do that. Yeah.
We've gone down on a rabbit hole. I feel like you and I could talk for another 3 hours, but I've got into a zone where I'm like, we're just going to get deep into philosophy here, which we can do. And I'd love to have you back on, brother. I'd love, we're going to follow up with some comms after this, because I'd love to support the business and to promote some stuff over here. So we'll put some links. Underneath here. If people go underneath, they'll see fitzwaterleather.com. You'll see the socials. Get involved, ask the questions. I always say shy kids don't get sweets. There's all sorts. Some of them, your team might not want to make. Some of them are expensive, some of them are cheaper. There's the stickers, there's the t-shirts, there's the shields, there's the holy grail that everyone's going to want to get a piece of. And if they're willing to put some skin in the game, that's something that you'll be able to, wear as a symbolism and utilize in the job as well. But thank you for today, mate. Really, really do appreciate it. I appreciate you entertaining me going deeper with some stuff, because, we're not just here to... People are interested in the products, but they're more interested in people behind the products, and that kind of...
Absolutely.
Your humility and your willingness to sort of share and open up today, I think, is what's really helped see the person behind the creativity. And I acknowledge there's team members as well. And the good lady, there's the boss as well, who's creating it.
Oh, yeah.
Send my love to her. Send my love to the family. We'll stick some links under here, brother. And I really hope we get another chance to catch up again.
Yeah, I think it'd be great. I'm all for it. Thank you for your time.
Well, that's it for today, folks. Hope you took a lot away from that episode. We started the Firefighters podcast to develop, inspire, connect, motivate, represent, and most importantly, celebrate the world of incredible emergency services operators and the wider sector through this series of wide-ranging conversations. We really love creating this podcast and bringing it to so many people. Did you know you can also find these on YouTube? We do a lot of video podcasts now. You can head over to our YouTube page and follow, subscribe there. And as a final ask from us, whatever platform you're on, please rate the podcast. It really helps us as a key performance indicator to reach more and more people. I've been your host, Pete Wakefield. This has been the Firefighters Podcast. And wherever you are in the world, please stay safe, be happy, and where possible, please remember and support your firefighters and first responders. I'll see you next time.